Right now at 5, bitter blast. The Northeast slammed by snow. Hundreds of thousands without power and a nightmare at the airports. We'll have live team coverage.
Crash and chaos. A car slams into the patio of an apartment building. We're there live with the aftermath.
For the first time, we are hearing from a mother whose baby was left at a South Florida fire station. Tonight, what she has to say about the whole ordeal.
And imagine this happening on your street. Water shooting into the air. We'll tell you the location of this spot in just a moment. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Cynthia Demas.
And I'm Ray Folbaum. The CBS 4 News at 5 in HD starts right now.
From Miami-Dade, Broward, and the Keys, this is South Florida's CBS 4 News.
Now at 5, bitter blast. The Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast shoveling out from up to a foot of snow today. The storm already blamed for 18 deaths and for knocking out power to 750,000 homes and businesses. And now to a live look outside, the polar opposite here in South Florida. But the system that's dumping all of that snow to our north will bring us quite a big cool down later on tonight.
Let's get right over to CBS 4 meteorologist Craig Setzer with our what looks like a beautiful forecast. Craig?
Yeah, it is a beautiful forecast. If you like to revisit winter for a little while, it's looking great. Here's where we've been over the last 12 hours. We had the thunderstorms yesterday afternoon and evening. Then we had that little squall of showers move through this morning. And as we've gone through the day, drier air has worked its way down the peninsula and cleared us out. So it's looking pretty nice. The reason for the cool down is that big winter storm that's working its way up the east coast. And you can see the flow around the backside right down the peninsula. Temperatures right now, not that bad, mainly low 70s. But tonight, it's going to get cold. In fact, overnight lows in Broward will be in the 50s along the beaches, low 50s, and 40s inland, even some mid-40s in some spots. Miami-Dade pretty much the same story, mid-50s along the coast. Mid-40s inland. When is it going to warm back up after we get through this? I'll have the details on that, plus the President's Day weekend forecast coming up in just a bit.
Craig, thanks very much. We now want to take you up north, where several states are getting pounded by the winter storm.
That's right. New York City alone got about 10 inches of snow, and more than 1.5 feet is expected in some other places as well. CBS 4's Alexis Christoforous is live in Columbus Circle, right in the middle of Manhattan. Alexis, you look like you're keeping warm a little bit. How's it going?
Well, Cynthia and Rick, you know what? This has become an all too familiar sight for us New Yorkers. We've got mounds of snow, freezing temperatures, treacherous roads. Governor Cuomo has already declared New York State a state of emergency, and us residents are just wondering, when are we going to catch a break?
Thanks, Maggie. New details on the execution of Juan Carlos Chavez, the killer of 9-year-old Jimmy Rice, requested that he be cremated and his remains be claimed by his spiritual advisor or one of his attorneys. The Department of Corrections believes he wanted his ashes to be sent to family in Cuba. A doctor declared Chavez dead by lethal injection last night at 8:17. You can read his final statement and see the entire press conference with the Rice family by logging onto our website at cbsmiami.com.
Well, take a look at this massive wall of water in a South Florida neighborhood earlier today.
Looks like a mess there, even knocked over the garbage can.
Still ahead, lighting up the sky. A gas line explosion forces a town in Kentucky to be evacuated, sends 2 people to the hospital. We'll tell you about that. And a group of students is given the opportunity to show off their moves with the legendary Alvin Alley dance program. We'll hear from those students coming up. And in case you missed it, late last night, LeBron James, look at this jumper. Whoa, at the buzzer. Sports anchor Jim Barry's got the play and the whole game highlights coming up next.